Welcome to our channel where we turn complex finance into clear everyday advice. Today, we're diving into something a little different. Not about numbers or interest rates, but about mindset. We'll be talking about 7 quiet signs that someone is truly wealthy, even if they never talk about money. Stick around to the very end. We've got a bonus tip coming up that you won't want to miss. Truly wealthy people don't stress over small financial setbacks. Whether it's a surprise bill or a downturn in the market, they stay level-headed because they've built buffers, emergency funds, and passive income streams. They don't need to check their bank balance before dining out or buying groceries. That calm attitude often reflects a deeper financial foundation. Peace of mind is a luxury that comes from being financially prepared, not from showing off. Truly wealthy people guard their time like a treasure. They don't rush to every social event or fill every hour with hustle. Instead, they focus on things that matter: family, health, learning, and meaningful work. You'll often find them saying no to people and tasks that don't align with their values. Not because they're arrogant, but because they're free. They've designed their lives with intention and freedom over your time. That's the real status symbol. When money isn't the goal, time becomes your most valuable currency. A lot of people associate success with upgrades, the newest phone, designer clothes, or a flashier car every few years. But for those who are quietly wealthy, lifestyle isn't a performance. They don't feel the need to upgrade every time their income increases. They aren't constantly chasing the next big thing to show off because their identity isn't tied to their spending. In fact, many keep their lifestyle stable even as their net worth grows. They continue living in the same home, driving the same reliable car, and spending thoughtfully. That doesn't mean they're frugal in a miserable way. It means they value freedom over flash. They know that lifestyle creep, where spending rises with income, is one of the fastest ways to stay broke even when you're earning more. Consistency builds wealth, constant upgrades drain it. Quiet wealth isn't about impressing others. It's about building a life that's comfortable, sustainable, and future-proof. Many people focus on what's right in front of them, the next paycheck, the next holiday, or the next big sale. But truly wealthy people, they play the long game. They're not just thinking about this year, they're thinking 10, 20, even 30 years ahead. They're making decisions today that benefit their future selves, even if no one notices now. That's why they invest early. That's why they choose real estate, shares, or businesses over short-term splurges. That's why they're not rattled when the market dips. They've already planned for the ups and downs. They ask questions like, will this asset grow over time? How will this affect my financial future? Is this helping me build freedom or just feeding an impulse? And this mindset doesn't just apply to money. It shows up in their careers, their relationships, and how they manage their time. Short-term sacrifices create long-term freedom. So while others chase instant rewards, the quietly wealthy build legacies, one long-term decision at a time. One of the clearest signs of quiet wealth? They're not trying to prove anything. You won't see them constantly dropping brand names or broadcasting their achievements. Their content being low-key, their self-worth isn't tied to what others think. It's tied to their values, freedom, and long-term vision. Confidence doesn't need applause. And wealth doesn't need a spotlight. When the news is filled with talk of recessions, interest rate hikes, or market crashes, it's easy to panic. You'll hear people rushing to sell, withdraw their savings, or wait until it's safe again. But the quietly wealthy? They don't get swept up in the chaos. They've seen it before, and they know it's all part of the cycle. Instead of reacting emotionally, they rely on plans, not panic. They've diversified their assets. They've set aside emergency funds. They don't invest more than they can afford to lose, and they always have a long-term strategy. This calmness isn't luck. It's built over years of financial discipline and understanding. While others are driven by fear, they're driven by fundamentals. They see downturns not as disasters, but as opportunities. That's how they end up buying when prices are low and benefiting later when things recover. True wealth isn't just about how much you earn, it's about how you behave when things get tough. One of the quietest, but most telling signs of true wealth is generosity without applause. The truly wealthy don't need to post donation receipts online. They're not sponsoring charities for clout or adding it to their LinkedIn bios. They give because they can, not because they want credit. You'll find them helping family behind the scenes, quietly funding community projects, or mentoring someone over coffee, with no expectation of praise. It's not about headlines. It's about impact. Loud giving is about ego. Quiet giving is about heart. They understand that money is a tool, not just to build their own life, but to lift others along the way. And because they're not chasing recognition, their generosity often stretches further. It's genuine, it's strategic, and it's deeply rooted in values, not vanity. True wealth shows not in what you flaunt, but in what you share without saying a word. Thanks for sticking until the now. As promised, the bonus tip in the end. The automatic investing. It sounds simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Whether it's weekly, fortnightly, or monthly, they set up automatic contributions to their investment accounts, superannuation, or ETFs. Why? Because automation removes emotion. It builds wealth consistently even when markets fluctuate or life gets busy. They don't wait for the perfect time to invest. They build habits that compound over time. The less you think about it, the more it grows. So what does real wealth look like? It looks like calm. It looks like freedom. It looks like intentional living without the need for applause. If you're building toward financial freedom, remember this. It's not about showing off, it's about showing up for your future. Thank you so much for sticking around until the end. We really appreciate your time. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with your friends or family. Be part of the Fortis community, where we turn financial knowledge into everyday confidence. Need guidance on your financial journey? Reach out to us anytime at finance@fortiscapital.com.au.